From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is U.S. Farm Report.
Welcome to U.S. Farm Report. This weekend, we're on the road from the World Pork Expo here in Des Moines, Iowa this week, thanks to the pork checkoff. And here's what's in store over the next 60 minutes. As drought concerns continue to grow across pockets of the Corn Belt, USDA adjusts its forecast for supply and demand. Two producers on very different paths, but both driving demand for U.S. pork.
People, pigs, and planet, I think, are really important major topics.
That's our Farm Journal report. A dynamic duo sniffing out smugglers and safeguarding pig farmers in the U.S.
Yeah, you found it. Good boy!
I don't believe that this is the great sandwich smuggling heist of 2023, right?
And in John's world,
peak gasoline and ethanol.
Now for the news, USDA providing its latest snapshot of the current crop in the ground. But with deteriorating demand, this was also under the microscope in the latest WASDE report this week. USDA adjusting both old crop and new crop ending stocks more than what analysts expected for corn and soybeans. Looking at old crop, USDA raising corn ending stocks by 35 million bushels from its May forecast. Old crop corn now forecast at 1.452 billion bushels. Soybeans were adjusted 15 million bushels higher to 230 million, but the agency did leave wheat unchanged from May at 598 million. USDA boosting new crop ending stocks estimate by 35 million bushels compared to May, now at 2.257 billion. Soybeans up 15 million bushels to 350 million. USDA noting a decline in exports for soybeans and corn, as well as more competition from South America. USDA also raising Brazil's current corn production estimate by 2 million metric tons, and USDA making cuts to Argentina's crop, reducing both corn and soybeans by 2 million metric tons. So what was the biggest surprise from the report? That's what we asked Arlen Suderman of StoneX Group.
Probably the biggest surprise to me was that they cut soybean exports by 15 million bushels. I think that's justified. I just didn't expect USDA to do it this early in the ball game. Shipments have been there, but slowing because export sales have really been flat. And then lo and behold, today we get an export sale of 197,000 metric tons to unknown destination. So what does that mean? How do we translate that? But overall, I think we're going to struggle with the big Brazilian crop.
Suderman says despite what he called bearish revisions to soybeans in Friday's USDA report, soy oil demand was the big driver of prices Friday, helping boost those double digits. And farmers in Ukraine are assessing the damage after a major dam explosion in the southeastern part of the country. The critical dam and hydroelectric power station sits on the Dnieper River. Ukraine accused Russian forces of blowing up the dam, while Russian officials blamed Ukraine for it. Its destruction raised anxiety about a potential disruption to global grain supplies, pushing up some prices around the world. Also, there are massive agricultural fields in southern Ukraine where the dam burst. Well, dryness and drought concerns continue to push east, and it's showing up in crop conditions across the eastern Corn Belt. That's as crop ratings showed a large drop across those states this week. 45% of the U.S. corn crop is now covered in drought. That's an 11-point jump in just a week. Overall, USDA NASS says crop condition ratings across the U.S. saw a 5-point drop this week. But look at the states with the biggest declines week over week. The same states that saw drought also expand. Illinois corn conditions dropped 19 points, now at 50% good to excellent. Indiana declined 10 points, and Ohio saw a 7-point drop. Well, El Nino could help bring drought relief yet this summer. On Thursday, NOAA declaring the arrival of El Nino. NOAA expects El Nino's influence on the U.S. to be weak during the summer, but more pronounced in the late fall through spring. By winter, NOAA says there's an 84% chance of greater than a moderate strength El Nino and a 56% chance of a strong El Nino developing. The U.S. Trade Representative announcing the office is requesting a formal dispute settlement consultations with Mexico. That's regarding its upcoming ban on U.S. GMO corn. U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai saying the U.S. has repeatedly conveyed concerns that Mexico's biotech policies are not based on science. She says the ban would disrupt exports to the detriment of U.S. agricultural producers. Mexico's February decree specifically bans the use of GMO corn in tortillas or dough. It would also gradually ban the use of biotechnology corn in all products for human consumption and animal feed. Discussions between U.S. and Mexico to try and resolve the issue have been going on for months. Pork exports exploded in March, and USDA released an updated look at export demand, with the industry hoping for a repeat performance. Well, despite the continued slowdown in China, U.S. Meat Export Federation says pork exports climbed 15% year over year in April. The value, that increased 10%. Now, beef exports continue to trend lower, which USMEF says was expected considering last year was a record for beef. Also, drought's impact on U.S. beef supplies, that is eating into overall exports this year. Cattle traders were wondering what to expect this week. That's after last week's average cash cattle price climbed near record highs. According to drovers, the strong cash cattle bids continued this week. That's after cash cattle prices jumped in all regions the week prior, trading $185 to $188 per hundredweight in the north and jumping as much as $9 per hundredweight in the south. Part of that bullishness. That's it for the news. Well, here in Iowa, the U.S. Drought Monitor shows more than 90% of the state is covered in dryness or drought. We'll have a check of the forecast to see if rain is on the way. That's next.